So hey there, thanks for checking out my videos. I do greatly appreciate it. You are in my little studio space where I do 3D printing. I do a little Canadiana art. I do a bunch of hobbies. Essentially, you're my hobby space. Turo is a hobby for me. So it's something that I enjoy doing. It allows me to get access to cars where I can tinker and work away. So I have a this is just my way of being able to say, okay, I can get into an Outlander and essentially it's paid for. I can get into a new cash car that I picked up. Actually, they both kind of qualify as cash cars. So picked up a Hyundai Genesis, a 2013. My Outlander's a 2014. So these are kind of the cars or the right at that edge of depreciation where there's still serviceability left in the car. There's still life in it. There's still some drivability there, and there's still a little bit of curb appeal. Are they the premium top end, going to get tons of money as rentals? No, but on the cost end of it or the ROI, the entry point is very reasonable and the return is reasonable. So it's not one of those things where I can say I can write home and say, hey, it's a Porsche Cayenne and it's going to get $600 a rental. This is not going to be the case. I'm looking in the realm of between like $40 and maybe $90 a day on the charge out on the cars. So these are volume vehicles. You need to go out 20 days out of the month to make them really worthwhile. They can get by on 10, but 20 is where I need to be in that sweet number or above. So that's just one of those things. It's kind of where I'm at. So I'm hoping to get into 4 cash cars because that's our cutoff in Ontario. We are only allowed to run 4 cars on Turo through our insurance company here. And it's intact, so you can look it up if you want to. I've had this debate with my broker as well. So once we hit that 4th car, we start to look at doing the 5th car. Good news, we are probably a rental agent, which is going to be a whole different kettle of fish. So it's one of those things where we will talk about OMVIC, getting a wholesaler's license, getting a retail establishment. We'll be talking about the insurance coverage you need to get as a garage policy, and whether a floor plan, which is financing, is available to you as a Turo host, kind of slash in between that transitional period of being a full-blown Hertz or Tilden franchise owner. Like that's kind of the progression. Like if you're looking at it from a standpoint of where does this lead to? For me, it's predominantly a hobby. It allows me to tinker on a car. It allows me to kind of have a little fun with it. That's kind of my goal. And with that said, we probably should talk about you want to get a car. So I've already bought a car. We kind of already did this, but the video got deleted. So we're going to do it again. I do apologize. We kind of do these in between my jobs. So again, this is a quick, we'll try and make it fast. So you're on Kijiji or you're on Facebook. I hate Facebook, but you're on there and you found the perfect car. You think, okay, I like that. You're familiar with it. You know what it is. It's a Mazda 3. It's a Toyota Corolla. It's a Honda Civic. You know, they're the bulletproof recommended Turo cars, right? The problem with that segment is they're always premium priced, regardless of the kilometers. They're always a premium, regardless of the history. So you kind of have to go outside the circle a little bit. Unless, of course, you're saying to yourself, I'm going to fund this and it's going to be spectacular. Or you're going to say to yourself, you know what, I gotta watch the nickels and dimes because they're going to add to dollars down the road. So it means you got to look at some of the off-brands. But regardless, maybe you're set on getting a Mazda, go for it. Go, you'll have fun with that. So enjoy it. I go kind of the outer edge. So I like Mitsubishi because 10-year warranty on their car from the manufacturer. If you do a little research, not a whole lot. I think the RVR and the Lancer, some of them have some issues with the CVT, but it's pretty rare. So it's one of those things that with a little common sense, if it's been maintained and serviced, it should be okay. But if it's been driven hard, when you're looking at it, you kind of go, okay, there's a reason why they're cheap. So it takes a little selection there. Outlanders have a geared transmission when they're a V6 and a GT, so they're almost bulletproof. Like they're a really good car. They're on par with a Toyota in that type of setup. So it's one of those things I look at and kind of go, that's the vehicle I'm familiar with. I work with Mitsubishi. I know kind of what the issues are attached with those ones. They're usually bulletproof. There's very few things that go wrong with the GT version. The little 4-cylinder Outlander, yes, there are issues with it because it's the vehicle's too heavy for the 4 that they put into it, so it gets overworked. They put a CVT in it, so it means the little engine has to rev to keep that thing constantly moving. So it means it's got higher wear patterns. The CVT unto itself, same family as a Nissan. It's not that it's as bad as a Nissan, but it's in that category. So it's one of those things. If you didn't do the fluid changes at 60,000 kilometers, and you're at 120 or you're at above, you're probably going to have some slippage, some issues. So again, things on that line. So find the car that you feel comfortable with or that you know, and go into that route. So you found one on Kijiji. We're going to call it a Hyundai. And before you do that, you're gonna contact the seller. You're going to say, hey, can I get the VIN? And sometimes it's already in the ad. And you're not going to buy a Carfax report, but you're going to Google the VIN number. And the Google will come up with sometimes a dealer listing. And so you go, okay, well, this car is being curbed by somebody outside the dealership. So that'll be not necessarily a red flag, but a cautionary note. The other one is that when you Google the VIN, it'll come up and tell you if there's any open recalls or campaigns through the manufacturer. It'll have a VIN decoder. So run it through the VIN decoder, get the build sheet so you know what the car is and what it has, right? Every manufacturer offers that. They're free. So when you go and look at the car, you kind of go, okay, so this one has a sunroof. That one's got a sunroof. This one's got the alloyed wheels. The alloyed wheels are missing. Where are they? Maybe they upgraded and threw some steel wheels on. It happens, right? But you can check the car to make sure and verify that it is what it is. Then if you've narrowed it down by the test drive, I use ChrisFix's inspection sheet. There's a download for it. I'll leave it down below. It's really good for the novice because it's kind of like check this, check that, check this, check that. It's a good negotiating tactic as well because you can kind of say, hey, you know what? I got 3 or 4 X's on this. I would really like to take the car to the local mining key dealership and have them just throw it on the hoist real quick, if you wouldn't mind, because of these issues. Or because of these issues, I'm going to assume that they're going to be problematic. I'm going to have to make you an offer that reflects the issues that I found in the car, with some apologies, but that's the nature of it, right? So again, that ChrisFix thing is a really good item to have. And it does lead you to taking a car that would be normally a residential vehicle or a private sale to a shop to have a quick little look, to look for, in Ontario, subframe rot is pretty normal. Brake lines are very expensive to replace if they're going to have to get done on safety. Be expected to pay a premium for that. So again, it's one of those things where if you can catch that beforehand, you can incorporate either that to your offer, or you can say, okay, I can at least budget for the safety for that, right? So it's one of those things. So you're at the point where you're going to go test drive the car, and you've now driven it, you've done your inspection, you're going, okay, I think I like it. It's going to be okay. You made an offer, the buyer's tentative or said yes. That's great. The deal's not closed yet. So don't walk away just yet with the car. You either need to run a Carfax report, like right out of the gate. Okay? And the reason being is because of Turo, if it's got an accident or salvage attached to it, it may not be allowed to be listed on Turo. It'll come up as a no. And so if you run the VIN on Turo as well before you pick it up, not a bad idea. So what I would suggest is that on your first arrival, grab a couple photos, right? Take the VIN number, go place it on Turo, but have it frozen. So in other words, you've got it set aside so it's not, no one can book it. So it's not available yet, like it's on private mode, right? But at least you know that Turo said yes, that vehicle is going to be able to go on the platform, but you still don't have it safety, you don't have it ready, right? So it's more of you're like 90% good. Then you got to go and get either the Carfax, or you got to spend $20 on a MTO, and the buyer may have this one, but they usually don't at that price point. And it's going to tell you who owns it, whether there's a lien against it. It's going to give you the branding on the car as well. The other one is going to tell you whether or not you can put a temporary plate on it. So that's really important, because how are you going to move it, right? So value points are subjective on this, but at least it's a benchmark to go by. I like to look at them from the standpoint of the last reported group of sales. So this could be a year behind. So this might be inflated price point wise. I've experienced the opposite, where they've been up to they're worth more. So it's one of those things where they don't guarantee the value, but it's just a benchmark to go by. I use a couple services online. So I use the Black Book to verify. There's a VLC as well. It's a pretty good VIN decoder with an assessment attached to it. Carfax does car values as well. So again, it's something you might want to check with that. That's $60. It's 20. You still should get a Carfax anyways, but again, $60. It is what it is. But this pretty much tells you everything. So for $20, it's the good first get. So the first round. So we find out who the owner is, how many owners have been there, whether it's got a lien. They don't guarantee that lien's not clear, but a 10-year-old car, you want to make sure it just isn't a 5-year-old debt lingering on it, right? So it'll tell you the branding on it. Very important. On the ownership, when you get the car, so right beside the current license plate on the vehicle is going to be the category. So you want to see the ownership. So you want to see fit. Fit is what? Anything else? No, you can't substitute. So if it's come back as a salvage rebuild, or it's got some kind of oddball coding on it, some weird branding, which you can come across on something that might have been a previous fleet car, don't buy it. It's just not worth the headache for Turo. It's going to cause you issues down the road. You might get kicked from the platform. It's just, don't bother. Unless, there really isn't an unless. If it's branded and it's on the ownership and it comes up on that, and it's going to come up on Carfax, Turo's going to know. It's going to kick it. You just spent your money for no reason. Don't bother. Walk, get another car regardless of the price. It's going to cost you money. You want to get the declaration that you paid the taxes, even if you don't get the plates transferred. So pay your taxes. Go get it. Go get your ownership done right out of the gate. So that day, as soon as you get the car, if you don't have insurance on it, if you don't have plates, that's fine. Go get the ownership done. You can come back later on with your insurance and with documentation to get your plates. But you want to flip it as soon as possible, because you want to get it so that there isn't that last hour someone threw something on it, right? So that's what you want to take care of. When you're looking at the car as a cash car, paperwork is the most important out of the whole group. New car, not so much, because the dealer's going to take care of it. They're liable for everything. So OMVIC is pretty brutal on a new car dealer. So if you ended up having a new car and it was like, oh, I found out it's branded, it was a 3-month delay in the reporting cycle, it doesn't matter. The dealer's responsible. Oh, there's a lien against it. I guess it was done the week of or the week prior to being traded in. Doesn't matter. Dealer's responsible. Whereas if you go to a private deal, you have to do the documentation. You're going to be on the hook for it. You might be able to chase them down, but the likelihood of you actually getting money out of somebody after you've paid their car is pretty slim to none. So do the lien checks. It's very important. So it can be a real nightmare from that standpoint. Go to your local dealer, take the VIN number with it, and go talk to the nice guy who is usually the guy in the parts counter. And the reason being is he can actually check and see the history as far as what was ordered on the car. He can also tell you whether there's recall campaigns or parts set aside for it. The gentleman at the front desk that's doing the service run, he's going to try and sell you service. It's kind of his job. He'll still run the VIN, but he's not really going to dig into it for you. If you're in the parts department, you're going to be adjacent to the warranty clerk. So you want to go in, like if you're at the local GM dealership, they're really good. Go in and talk to them. Say, hey, look, I'm thinking of buying this car. Here's the VIN number. Here's the issues. And they'll run it. They're really good that way. Same thing with everyone's pretty decent. There really isn't a dealer I can think of that's been difficult from that standpoint. So have some fun there with it. So hopefully that helps you out with the cash car. That's our 15-minute. We're trying to keep it kind of a little low and do the catch up. So paperwork, ownership, make sure you get it with taxes paid. So you have that done the same day. Get the vehicle transferred right away. Get the MTO package. Make sure it's valid and the right date. Do a car proof report, very important. Use ChrisFix's inspection sheet. Use that as a tool so you can actually look at a car and go, oh, it's not me, it's ChrisFix. And his inspection sheet is the devil. He tells me your tires are out of date and they're going to kill me. So you wouldn't check the tires, would you? You wouldn't check the date without thinking about it. right? So same thing with looking at visually at the brakes and doing the walk around on it. So it's going to be one of those things that it may lead to a discount on the car where you can be pretty comfortable about that. Or it may lead to the point where you can say, you know what, it's a car I'm going to pass on because I've noticed leaks and other issues. Or it might be a car where you say, you know what, at the wholesale price, I just need to get it inspected. So if you could take it to the local garage and pay an hour, it's going to be out of your pocket. And then you'll have an estimate. You go, okay, well, oil pan needs to get done. It's not part of safety, but it needs to get done. Flex pipe needs to get done, not part of safety, but needs to get done. Brake lines are rusty. They're part of safety. They definitely need to get done. Rotors pads definitely need to get done. Chip in the windshield definitely needs to get done. So at least you'll get this category of, okay, if I paid the wholesale for it and I had to put another $3,000 into it, well, I'm really paying retail. You might as well go buy a retail car. So that safety aspect and that wholesale number, sometimes that wholesale number has to be lower, based on that. So that ChrisFix inspection is perfect as far as getting you to be able to take it, to have it checked over. So, and again, if the ChrisFix thing is really good, if it flies, you go, okay, this is great. Well, maybe you don't have to be too concerned about things. But I've always found in Ontario that regardless whether the car is perfect or perceived to be perfect, there is always going to be a repair needed for safety. Always. Never fails. It'll be something ridiculous and you'll go, okay. And it'll be something under $200. Usually is. And it's just enough where it's annoying where you don't want to kick it. So you just say do it. So the technician will do something. Who knows? But it's always something there. So just always factor in it's $250 for the safety documentation and the actual inspection, and then it's usually another $200 of techery, usually. So just the nature of it. So and then $1,000 for preventative maintenance items that have to get cut up. So you can see where that can be pretty quick as far as things add up. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. I do appreciate thumbs up, and if you can subscribe, that would be great. I'm trying to get a little more Turo Pacific, and I'm also trying to narrow some of these videos down just to make them a little more rapid fire for you. Again, they're not scripted, so I kind of meander a little bit. So I do apologize for that. If you like the content, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. If you've got suggestions, that's always helpful. If you're a Turo host and you're in Southern Ontario, always like to hear from you. So maybe we can compare and go, okay, well, who's on your team? Oh, I got a Mitsubishi, you got a Kia Rio? Okay, what's that player like? We kind of go back and forth a little bit, kind of like a little baseball game, see who was doing what, right? Which, as we kind of go off a little bit, Moneyball. Take the concept to Turo. So just look at the cars as their players. You're trying to get that end of life player, the player that used to be $1 million, per season. You want him for free, but you want that last little run where he's still okay, but a little dodgy with the knees. Still okay in a pinch, but you don't want to rely on him for the whole game. That's what we're looking at when we're looking at cash cars. So that's the concept. Looking at ROI and numbers. You're not looking at make, model, color, options. You're looking at ROI and numbers. That's it. So if you're in Turo because you're going, I really want to be able to have a Porsche Boxster, and this is my way of justifying the purchase and being able to afford it, that's a different Turo animal altogether. You're a different host. You're not in it for the rental part of it or the business aspect of it. You're there to pay a bill off. It's a little different. It's not that it's wrong. It's just it's a little different. Cash cars are really where you're trying to develop a 4-car fleet. Like that's really what you're trying to do and move forward. Or be able to say, look, I did the 4 cars. I made a bunch of mistakes. Now I can move up a notch. Kind of as one car kind of goes out the door, you can bring the next one in. Maybe it's a little nicer. Then next one goes out. Maybe that one's a little nicer. Next one's out. Maybe that one's a little nicer until you change the core of your business from being the cash car runabout beater to a mid-range luxury car where the money's raining down on you. Maybe that's the case. I don't think it is, because I think as soon as you get over $20,000 and you're into finance, I think that ROI becomes really hard to chase after. I think that balance is being able to say to yourself, if I had a bad month, the car can sit. There isn't a payment due. Still overhead like insurance, but the wear and tear wouldn't be on it. So and the depreciation isn't really taking it. So you can let it ride for a little bit and see where it goes. So we're up to 20 minutes. thank you very much for staying. I do appreciate it. And I do like the Moneyball concept. Maybe we'll do a video where we kind of do that. We talk the Moneyball concept with Turo. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Have a pleasant and enjoyable day.